Hi, welcome to the Amy and Noel on Dyslexia YouTube channel. Today's video is about due process. This is a channel for parents of kids with dyslexia. I designed this t-shirt and others. You can find the link to them in the description. Before we move on with the video, please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And if you hit the notification bell, you will get notified every time I make a new video, which is usually on Thursdays. When you have a child in special education, it can be very frustrating to try to get the right services for your child. So I've been making a series about how to get a free appropriate public education for your child. This is the 4th video in the series. I'll put links to the other ones in the description. I'm not going to get into all the legalities of due process and how to go about it and those things. I'm not a lawyer, and if you want legal advice, you should probably talk to a lawyer. I will link a couple videos made by lawyers in the description of this video and up in the cards. I want to talk a little bit about the 3 reasons people might want to file due process. Number 1 is reimbursement. Reimbursement is for past educational fees like tutoring, legal fees, etc. Another reason parents would want to file due process is for compensatory education. Compensatory education is when the school pays for tutoring to make up for or compensate for years of lost instruction. That specifically really applies to kids with dyslexia because if the school hasn't been providing a proper education for kids with dyslexia, which you can see what schools need to offer in this video, the child will have not been making progress for a lot of years. A third category parents would file due process for is ongoing services and accommodations. This is when you have disagreements about what they are providing now. This includes independent education evaluations and private school tuition and transportation to the private school. Before we go on, I want to talk about the cons of due process. Filing due process is very expensive. Right away, the school district has to hire a lawyer, even if it gets settled out of a hearing. It diverts hundreds of thousands of dollars of school money, taxpayer money, that could be going to system-wide changes and to students. Instead, that money goes to attorney fees and one child's education. Parents have commented on schools spending 4 times the money on legal fees that it would have cost to provide the services. The legal fees the districts are able and willing to spend on attorneys rather than on services for students is astronomical. Many schools refuse to change until the cost of lawsuits outweigh the cost of the programs. The number of educational due process cases filed by parents in California is growing at a rate of 85%. It is quite adversarial. Most administrators and self-directors, school employees, they would really prefer you to try to work it out with them first or in some other manner. But of course, this depends on the school district that you're working with. Like I said in previous videos, if you are in a school district that is very adversarial and will sue you first, then you need to be careful and get advice from an advocate or a lawyer. Other school districts are much more willing to work with parents. In those cases, mediation or alternative dispute resolution might be able to solve the problem, but again, get advice from an advocate. Going through due process can be very intimidating and stressful for everybody involved. So what can be the benefits of filing due process? It can be an effective way of getting your child what you want them to have. It can be faster than trying to work things out a different way with the school, like trying different interventions. One parent said, "By the time parents get to the point of needing to file due process, we have lost years and our children have been forced to fail for years, if not a good decade of their young lives. Every moment that is wasted and every time a child has to fail at a new intervention is a new scar." Some people think that filing due process helps towards system-wide changes because it brings attention to a problem in the school district. The due process case goes on public record. It's important to note that about 96% of the due process cases settle out of court before going to a hearing judge. Settling out of court would be in a mediation, which I talked about in my last video. And I touched on settlement agreements in my last video. I want to talk about it a little bit more. A settlement is a legal document like a contract that details the services your child will get and the money the school district will pay for reimbursement, compensatory education, and ongoing services and accommodations. Rights Law has a great document about settlement agreements, and I will put a link to it in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.